Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. So, today we have a battle against Patrick, random person offline. So yeah, looking at their team there, looks to be pretty strong, pretty interesting looking team there. Looking at my team, it is the same one that I've been using the past few games. So, what do I want to lead with in this one? I think we're going to go with the Rhydon in this one, actually. And we'll see how that works out. Alright. So, there he is. And he's going to go ahead and lead with the Grimmsnarl as we lead with the Rhydon. So, right out of the gate here, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and throw a Stealth Rock up. I think that's probably just our best course of action. So we're just going to go straight for that, as this thing is going to go for a trick, interestingly enough. So going to go ahead and steal our Eviolite off of us. And we are going to get a choice Scarf. They are going to get our Eviolite. So that's obviously unfortunate for us because we lose the Eviolite, so we're far less bulky. But we do go for the Stealth Rock to get the Hazard up, so that's something. I think we're going to be locked into Stealth Rock now. I'm going to try to click Earthquake just to test it. But yeah, we're locked in because we went second. So we obviously have to switch in this situation, unfortunately. I think our switch into this thing is probably... It's a good question, honestly. What is our switch into this thing? Probably Corviknight. I think that's the best play, so we're just going to go for Corviknight here, see what they want to do, and yeah, we'll go from there. So there it is, and this thing is going to go for a Reflect, unfortunately, which is going to, of course, increase the physical defense of all their Pokemon for several turns. So this is a little bit of a problem, honestly. Now, this thing could easily go for a Trick once again on us, which would kind of be problematic, because I kind of don't want to lose the Rocky Helmet or lose another good item on my Pokemon. So I think what we're actually going to do here, knowing this thing probably doesn't have many, if any, attacking moves, is we're actually just going to double switch back into the Rhydon, anticipating that maybe this thing is going to want to trick us. We're also going to burn screen turns, which is good. So there's the Rhydon, as this thing is just going to straight up switch, interestingly enough, and so it is going to switch directly into the Incineroar. So that thing's coming in, and that's an interesting play. It does take the Stealth Rock damage, and it does get the Intimidate to lower our attack, which is not great. Now, the only good thing here is that we should pretty much definitely outspeed this thing. They don't really have the best of switches to a ground attack, so I think we're just going to go for the Earthquake straight away, as this thing actually still outspeeds us, despite us being Choice Scarf, which is awful. Goes for the Drain Punch, gets some HP back off of us, but we're still pretty bulk invested. We go for the Earthquake at -1. Not going to do much of anything to this thing, unfortunately, so this is a losing battle for us to stay in on, so we're not going to stay in. I think our best bet here is to probably go into the Tentacruel, so that's what we're going to do, knowing that this thing might just continue to try to Drain Punch us because we can't outrun that thing. So we're going to go ahead and switch into the Tentacruel, as this thing is going to go for a Parting Shot, so it's not going to lower our stats thanks to the Clear Body ability, and they actually don't get to switch out thanks to that, so that's actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. So in this situation, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight for a Surf. I don't think there's any reason not to, so we're just going to do that, as this thing is just going to straight up switch out. Can't do anything to the Tentacruel, and they are going to switch directly into the Mousehold, which is kind of fine for us. So that thing comes in, it takes some Stealth Rock damage, and it's also going to take a max special attack Surf here. How much damage is it going to do? Knocks it down to about a third HP, which is great damage, and the Reflect is now over. So we have a little bit of a choice to make here. This thing could easily go for a Tidy Up, It could also go for a population bomb. So what I kind of want to do, since we're Rocky Helmet on the Corviknight, is I kind of want to just switch into that and let this thing take itself out on Rocky Helmet damage. I don't know if they'll risk going Tidy Up, just because one more attack will surely take them out. So I think we're going to go into the Corviknight here. That's probably the safest play, so we don't take unnecessary damage on the Tentacruel, as it looks pretty useful against them. So we're going to switch into the Corviknight once again, as they are going to go for a Tidy Up, so they do make the risk play. It is going to go ahead and get rid of the Stealth Rock, which is unfortunate. It does increase their attack and speed as well, which does kind of suck, but there's not much we can do about that. So what I think we're going to do this turn, I'm not sure what they could be packing for us, but I think as much as I would love to just go for a Roost, anticipating that they're going to take themselves out on the Rocky Helmet, I feel like we have to play it safe and just go Brave Bird. So that's what we're going to do, as they do just Baton Pass, so that's not great. So clearly not quite playing by the rules, but that's is what it is, as they're going to switch directly into the Glamora. So that's not great either, as that thing's coming in. We do go for the Brave Bird. It is going to do a little bit of chip damage to that thing. It does, of course, trigger the Toxic Debris to set the Toxic Spikes up on our side of the field. And we do take a little bit of recoil damage, as this thing heals a little bit with the Black Sludge. So we really have no choice in this situation but just to U-turn out. I think that's probably our only play. We know this thing's going to outspeed us thanks to the attack and speed increases. So we're just going to U-turn here, as this thing is going to go for Spikes, which does suck. That's going to go ahead and get a layer of spikes up on us, obviously, some hazards, which is not good. We go for the U-turn, which is going to do a little bit of chip damage, not too much, but it is, of course, going to trip the Toxic Debris once again to put the second layer of Toxic Spikes on us. We do get the pivot out, which is what we need. I'm not super worried about the Toxic Spikes, because we do have Tentacruel to get rid of those. I don't know if we want to come in straight away with Tentacruel right now. I think that's probably our best play, because we don't want to get anything poisoned for no reason. So we're just going to go ahead and bring the Tentacruel back in, and we are going to get rid of all those Toxic Spikes as well. We will take some Spikes damage, and this thing will regain some HP with the Black Sludge once again, as we are going to get some HP back with our leftovers. So I think once again here we did just go straight for the Surf. I think that's our best play. We could Terra, but I feel like just going for the Surf straight away is the best play. We don't want to Terra just yet, I don't think, as this thing is going to straight up switch once again, and it is going to go into the Garganackle this time. So that thing's coming in, and we are going to go for the Surf here, and it is going to do about a little over half to this thing, which is great. We do get more HP back with the leftovers, which is also great, and we know as this thing is going to get some HP back with the leftovers as well, we know that we should be outspeeding this thing. So I think this turn, while they could Terra to escape the situation, I think we're just going to make the obvious play and Surf again. And if they Terra, it just kind of is what it is. We'll have to deal with it, as they actually are just going to double switch the Garganackle, not wanting to lose it to the next Surf. They are going to go this time into the Alchemy. So that thing is coming in. We do go for the Surf here, and it is going to do some decent chip damage to this thing, as it's going to go ahead and pop a Berry to increase its special defense, which is quite interesting, as we then get the rest of our HP back with the leftovers. So that is quite interesting. Now that the fact that their special defense is increased, we really can't stay in with Tentacruel. So I think what we'll do, we have a little bit of a choice to make. I feel like we could go into either the Rhydon or the Corviknight straight away. This thing could carry fire moves. I think we are just going to go into the Rhydon here. I think that'll be our play. We don't have the Eviolite, so we won't be able to take attacks as well, which is unfortunate, but I just want to make that switch as we come in with the Rhydon, take the Spikes damage, and this thing is going to Terra. So what is it going to Terra into? It is going to be a water type. So it goes Terra Water, which is interesting. And so it is going to go for a Calm Mind, which is obviously a big problem. So that's going to go ahead and increase its special attack and its special defense even farther. So that's obviously a big problem for us. So right now, this thing is going to be sitting at +2 special defense, +1 special attack. We obviously can't take an attack from this thing with the Rhydon. But we pretty much just have to stay in and try to Earthquake, although I think despite the Scarf, we're still going to get outsped by this thing. No, we actually do outspeed it thanks to the Scarf. We go for an Earthquake, and it actually is enough to go ahead and take that Alcremé out. So the actual Choice Scarf that they tricked us actually really just saved us there, hilariously enough. So the Alcremé goes down. And they go down to, I believe, 5 Pokemon. So that is pretty awesome for us. So now the Grimmsnarl is going to come back in, the very Pokemon that tricked us into the Choice Scarf. So, yeah, that was a pretty awesome turn of events. So I think we just go for the Earthquake again here to just try and get more chip damage on this thing. I think that's probably our play. So that's what we're going to do, as this thing is going to go for a Reflect once again. To go ahead and increase the physical defense of all their Pokemon. We do go for an Earthquake here. It's not going to do as much through the Reflect, but it does do some decent chip damage. We're going to have to start wearing this Grimmsnarl down, so we're just going to stay in and go for another Earthquake here, as this thing will Parting Shot us, which is not great. It is going to cut our attack further, and our special attack, which doesn't really matter, but it is going to give them a pivot out. So they're going to switch something in here to a -2 Earthquake. What is it going to be? It is going to be the Incineroar, make that a -3 Earthquake. So the Incineroar is in. It does get the Intimidate to cut our attack even farther, as I said. We go for the next Earthquake. It is super effective. After all those stat reductions, it is not going to do nearly enough to take the Incineroar out, as it is then going to go ahead and pop a Citrus Berry, leaving it at about 50% health. So we obviously can't stay in anymore with the Rhydon. Our attack has dropped far too much, so I think we're just going to switch back to the Tentacruel. I think that's our best play here, so that's what we're going to do. As there it is, and we are going to take the Spikes damage again, as the Incineroar will go for a Drain Punch. Not going to do too much damage to us, but it is going to heal them up a little bit, as we are then going to regain some HP with the Leftovers once again. So I think, again, in this situation, we can pretty safely go for a Surf here. I don't really think they have best of switches into that, so we're just going to do that. As they do stay in, we go for the Surf straight away. It is enough to go ahead and finish that Incineroar off from that range and knock them down to 4 Pokemon, which is pretty incredible. So Tentacruel doing some work, Rhydon doing some work, which is pretty awesome, as we do get more HP back from the Leftovers. So now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Grimmsnarl once again. So that thing's coming in. Now this turn, I am anticipating that this thing is going to want to trick us, that Eviolite that it stole. So I'm really tempted to just go into the Rhydon and reverse our fortunes back here again and get our Eviolite back. So I am actually just going to go ahead and make that switch. I'm going to go back into the Rhydon here and perhaps hope that they give me my Eviolite back, make me a little more bulky again. So there is the Rhydon, and we do take more Spikes damage. That is wearing us down, unfortunately, as this thing goes for the Light Screen this time, so no trick. So this thing has no attacking moves, it looks like, and the Reflect is going to be over, which is good, as now I think what we can do here is, how do we want to play this? I think we do just continue to go for the Earthquake. I think that's our best play, so that is what we're going to do, as this thing is just going to take the chance to set up a Reflect, going ahead and getting that physical defense increase once again as we go for the Earthquake, knocking this thing below half. I think we're just going to go ahead and keep spamming Earthquake here with the Rhydon, no reason not to, as they are going to Parting Shot us once again to drop our attack and special attack. And of course that is going to give them the pivot out once again. So what are they going to come in with here? What are they going to switch into this Earthquake? That is the question. So it is going to be the Garganackle. So that thing comes in. And we are at -1 attack. We go for the Earthquake again, and it doesn't quite do enough to take this thing out, which sucks. And after it regains HP with the leftovers, I know it definitely won't be enough to take this thing out. So, not great, not the greatest of situations for us to be in. I think we're just going to go ahead and try to chip this thing farther with another Earthquake, as we do outspeed this thing, which is nice. And next Earthquake, not quite enough to take this thing out, unfortunately, as it's going to go for an Earthquake of his own. And the Rhydon actually does survive with 16 HP in the red, which is incredible. As that thing gets some leftovers recovery. So it should be within range that the next Earthquake takes it out. So we're just going to go for it, as they are going to switch. So they're trying to save the Garganackle. They know they can't take another one. They are going to switch directly into the Glamora, interestingly enough, as we go for the next Earthquake. And that is not quite enough to take the Glamora out, unfortunately, but it does trigger a layer of Toxic Spikes from the Toxic Debris once again. So they are going to get some HP back with the Black Sludge, which is unfortunate, and the light screen is going to be over, which is nice. So I say we're just going to stay in with Rhydon. We're almost out of PP for Earthquake, actually. We've been spamming it so much, but we're just going to go for it again, force them to take us out, as they actually double switch us once again. So I don't know if they're trying to run us out of PP on the Earthquake on the Rhydon or what. But they come in with the Grimmsnarl as we go for the next Earthquake, and not going to be enough to take it out. The Reflect is going to be over, which is nice. So I think what we're going to do here is... what are we going to do? I think we're going to go ahead and... How do we want to play this? We don't have a lot of time to make a decision. You know what? I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring our Ninetales in. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to bring Ninetales in because we want to try and get some outspeeding some things going. We want to try to get some damage going. We do take the Spikes damage and get poisoned off the Toxic Spikes as well. But we are going to get the Snow Warning to make it hail, or I should say make it snow, because it's not hail anymore, it's snow, as this thing goes for the Reflect, increasing the physical defense of all their Pokemon once again. We do take some poison damage, which is fine. This turn we're just going to go straight for the Moonblast here, not going to overthink this, as they go for the Light Screen, which is going to increase their special defense. We go for the Moonblast. Fortunately, it is going to be enough to go ahead and finally get rid of that Grimmsnarl and knock them down to, I believe, 3, as we do take some more poison damage. So we finally get rid of the Grimmsnarl, which means they finally won't be able to continue to set up hazards on us, which is good, as now they come in with the Glamora, I should say set screens up. So the Glamora is in... I think our best play in this situation is we're actually going to go ahead and make a sack play to get Ninetales out of there. We're going to go ahead and switch back to the Rhydon, as we are starting to push the edges of the timer here. So we're going to bring the Rhydon in, and we are going to take the Spikes damage, which is actually going to finish us off there, knocking us down to 5 Pokemon. But Rhydon did a great job in this one, as the Glamora is actually going to go for the Spikes this turn to get that second layer up, so perhaps predicting something like that. Goes for the second layer of Spikes, which is unfortunate, and gets some HP back with the Black Sludge. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and bring the Tentacruel back in once again. So we do take the Spikes damage, which is unfortunate, but we do get rid of the Toxic Spikes, which is pretty nice. And once again, we're just going to go ahead and go straight for a Surf, as this thing is going to go for a Spiky Shield to try and scout us. So obviously we are going to go for the Surf, not going to do any damage, unfortunately. And they are going to stall out another turn of Leftovers recovery for us, as we are, of course, still pushing the edges of the timer. They are going to get another turn of Black Sludge recovery as well. So we're just going to go for Surf again here, no reason not to. They've already Terra'd, and they don't really have a good switch to Surf, so it's pretty safe. They are actually going to try to switch to save the Glamora, and they are going to go ahead and come back in with the Garganackle. So that thing comes in at the health that it's at. There's no way it takes a Surf, so we go for the Surf. Sure enough, it will finish the Garganackle off there and knock him down to 2 Pokemon as the snow is going to stop, and we are going to get another round of Leftovers recovery. So, we'll see what they want to bring in now. The Reflect is going to be over as well, which is good news. And obviously with the Grimmsnarl down, it's not going to reset it. So the Maushold does come back in here, and so we are pushing the edges of the timer. We're just going to go straight for a Surf here as the Maushold goes Population Bomb. How many times is it going to hit? More than enough to take the Tentacruel out, unfortunately. So, yeah, the Population Bomb will take us out with 5 hits, knocking us down to 4 Pokemon, as now all we really need to do is go ahead and come in with the Corviknight with seconds left on the clock. So we're going to come in with that. We know there's no Terras here. We're just going to go for the Body Press. No reason not to, as they are actually going to switch the Maushold out, interestingly enough, and they are going to go to the Glamora. So the Glamora is coming in, and we go for the Body Press. It's not enough to take this thing out, knocks it into the red, triggers another layer of Toxic Spikes, unfortunately. And it looks like that is, unfortunately, going to take us to the timer as this thing. We're just going to see if we can get one more turn, try to click Body Press real quick. But no, not in time. So the timer is up and the game is over. But we do get the win because we are going to win that one 4-2 against Patrick, because obviously we do have more Pokemon remaining. But yeah, that was a pretty good battle, pretty intense battle there. Pretty hard-fought battle as well. Unfortunately, a lot of time wasting in that game. But it was a good one. It was a very competitive game nonetheless. But once again, of course, the timer ends up playing a factor, because unfortunately that's just what happens in Pokemon these days. But that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.